Next month, students all over the United States will begin graduating from college. There's a lot of pride in that experience. Family and friends will gather and celebrate. These young graduates are going to be filled with hope, expectation, and gratitude to those who helped them reach this milestone in their lives. But they're also going to be graduating with debt. In some cases, massive amounts of debt. 96% of for-profit college students will graduate with a debt of $33,000. 15% of them, 1 out of 6, will default on their loans within 2 years. There's now more than $1 trillion in outstanding student loan debt. As I mentioned on the floor several times, a little over a year ago, for the first time in history, student loan debt in America surpassed credit card debt. One of the reasons there's been such a huge influx is that college costs continue to rise at unsustainable rates. Tuition and fees at four-year schools have rocketed up 300% from 1990 through 2011. And over the same period, broad inflation was just 75%. Even healthcare costs rose at half the rate of the cost of higher education. The average for-profit college costs $30,900 a year in tuition and fees. Private, nonprofit institutions aren't too far behind. Average tuition and fees run about $26,600. Schools with larger endowments charge even more, upwards of $50,000 to $57,000 in total fees. They use their endowment to give students large financial aid packages, which is admirable, but it has consequences. The elevated sticker price for these schools provides for-profit colleges the cover to raise their prices to similar levels. And let me remind you, for-profit schools, for-profit colleges in America get more, up to and more than 90% of their revenue directly from the federal government. They are 10% away from being federal agencies. Students graduating this year have one advantage. If they took out federal subsidized loans, their interest rate is low. In 2007, Congress set interest rates on subsidized federal student loans for the last several years. Current graduates have low, affordable interest rates on their federal loans from 6.8% to 3.4%, depending on the year they took out the loan. Graduates next year may not be so lucky. The interest rate goes up to 6.8% for all unless Congress acts. That's because these rates, set to double for 740 million students across the country on 1st of July, will only be changed if Congress acts. That's going to affect 365,000 plus borrowers in my state of Illinois. Each borrower in Illinois will save $1,000 plus over the lifetime of their loan if current interest rates of 3.4% continue. Across the state, borrowers will save a total of $387,000. Every week in my office, we hear from students who would be directly affected by interest rate increases. Making college affordable shouldn't be partisan. It affects everybody. Just this week, during a news conference in Pennsylvania, Governor Mitt Romney acknowledged the tough job market new graduates face and expressed support for keeping interest rates low. He said, "I fully support the effort to extend low interest rates on student loans. Temporary relief on interest rates for students is a result of, in part, because of the extremely poor conditions in the job market." Higher education isn't a luxury anymore. It's part of the American dream that many of us bought into and invested in. An educated workforce will make us a stronger nation. By 2018, 63% of jobs will require post-secondary education. Keeping debt levels low and manageable for college graduates is essential. George Jacobs, like so many other students I've spoken about on this floor, are going to spend the rest of their young adult life paying for student loans. There's always been a lot of talk around here about mortgage crises, and rightly so, but think about 17 and 18 and 19-year-old students signing away their income for the next 30 years before they can even dream of a job or owning a home. We're going to consider legislation when we get back from the break in about 10 days on making sure that student loan interest rates are manageable. There's more to this issue. We have to deal with the reality that the President raised in the State of the Union address. This spiraling cost of higher education is unsustainable and unfair, fundamentally unfair. And you say to the young people, get educated for your future. And they follow our advice and walk into the student loan trap.